Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, joined once more by Charlie for a very special discussion, a discussion we've not ever had on the channel ever before. We're talking the Primetime Emmys, to be specific, the 75th Primetime Emmys, the ceremony that took place last night in America, celebrating the best series of 2022 to 2023. Now, you may be wondering, it's 2024, why are we talking about it now? Why did it happen yesterday? Of course, we had the SAG and the WGA strikes last year, which of course delayed the show, which I believe takes place in September every year. So we're a couple of months behind. I'll be really honest. They definitely put it in January for the sole reason of being around the Golden Globes and all the other TV ceremony awards. But first of all, Charlie, how are we doing today?
Good. Yeah, good. I'm going to struggle with this one, though, because I haven't seen most of the stuff that won. But if we just talk Succession, we're all good.
No, same here. It's one of these. Now, for anyone curious at home, the Emmys have happened. They're done across multiple nights. You have last night, which is the main awards, your performances, your writing, your live shows. We're going to be talking about that. But 2 weeks ago, they do the Creative Emmys, which is your technical, like best intro sequence, best soundtrack, best visual effects, all of those sorts of things. And we're not going to go through them because that would be a ridiculously sized show. But The Last of Us basically swept all of them. Although I will say, we'll talk about Succession tonight, but Succession not winning best soundtrack to lose The Last of Us, which is a fantastic soundtrack on a game from 10 years ago, put into live action, I'm still not happy with.
I mean, in my opinion, The Last of Us shouldn't have won anything. So,
controversial. Did it win anything yesterday? I think it was just the technicals, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was just Pedro that was nominated.
Yes. Oh, but I said Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman, best guest star. He did beat Succession to something. Which was a lovely, lovely speech. But the way we're going to do this for people at home, people that are wondering, we have, like what we did with the Golden Globes, like what we're going to be doing with BAFTA moving forwards. I don't think we're going to do ones like the SAGs. We're definitely doing the Critics' Choice because that was Sunday. And I think that show is completely irrelevant, if I'm being really honest. The governors, there's a lot of awards this time of year. Even Barack Obama has his own top 10, which has become a thing, hasn't he?
You're just bitter about Cillian Murphy not taking the Critics' Choice Award, aren't you?
No, you know what? And I'll say this: I loved Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, but I was looking back. I was like, I'm not going to send a tweet, and I was like, but I'm pretty sure last year the Critics' Choice got a lot of it wrong. And if you keep going back through Critics' Choice Awards, they get a lot of it right, a lot of it wrong. But it basically feels like Film Twitter, the award show.
Because film Twitter is made of film critics, so it just makes sense.
I know, but it's like I always find it really funny because not in like a rude way at all, but I just think with Critics' Choice, it's like I agree with a lot of it. There's never something so ridiculous, is there, that it's like stupid, but it's like me and you talk about it. It's like the bubble that like people that don't live outside that bubble don't really know what the voters are going to go for. But I will say this. If Oppenheimer wins everything on the Oscars night, except Best Actor, I actually think I'd probably like turn off the stream because
Paul Giamatti is not winning Best Actor at the Oscars. That is
I know.
Don't live in that world.
We've had a great press tour. He spoke a lot about Planet of the Apes and how it was a dream to be a monkey. He spoke that he wants to be a Bond villain. He's gone in and out and gone viral. He's an absolute legend, and I'm happy to have him around for a award season. But it's surely like the most. It's got to different shows talking TV. But yeah, it's not going to happen. But what we're going to do, we do want to hear from people at home. So if you care about the Emmys, is probably a better word. As I said, we've never talked award shows, so this is all new to us. You've got feedback, comment, and let us know. If you think this is dreadful, if you think this is good, if you want us to review more TV, because as we said, we haven't seen a lot of this. I don't watch an awful lot, if I'm being really honest. I say that I've just binged The Bear, The Pacific, Band of Brothers in the space of like 10 days, and the tonal whiplash from Band of Brothers to The Bear to The Pacific is the most like intense tonal whiplash. A lot of like John Berthenol popping up all the time. I was like, brilliant.
Just watched a very sad episode of The Pacific in regards to John Bernthal.
Yeah, didn't want to say anything. Didn't want to say anything, but I was like, yeah,
the fact that he's only credited in 2 episodes was a bit of a spoiler.
But he's a great one, and they're talking about Punisher coming back again, aren't they? He's talking about it somewhere. So we do want to hear from people. We've got Matt in the comments. He's a big fan of The Bear, but couldn't figure out the category that it was in and won. Okay, so we'll go through that. So for people at home, what we're going to do, we've got on our screens at home a list of all the awards from last night and the winners. We're going to sort of go through them and probably have like a generic chat once we round out a group, purely because there's a trend amongst the winners of certain genre. We'll definitely be talking about the bear and everything it's won. I did have a question to put on the spot about Charlie, but I'm not going to lie. I've completely forgotten what I was meant to ask you.
Okay,
Okay, no, I do remember. What's the favourite show you've seen from the last year? But I think I know the answer.
I mean, you really have put me on the spot because, of course, I can't remember everything I've watched in the last year. It's always so much. It's probably got to be Succession. It's between Succession and Ted Lasso. I mean, the fact that we got both of those season finales within like a week of each other, or was it even the same day? I can't remember. That was heavy. That was heavy going. But I don't know. There was a lot of good stuff last year. There was also some pretty bad stuff. I mean, I know I'm completely on my own here, but I wouldn't watch The Last of Us again. I probably won't go back for season 2. What else did I like? I loved The Bear. I love Abbott Elementary, and I know we'll get onto it because Quinta won, and I was so happy about it. It's such a great show. Yeah, but it's got to be Succession.
That's fair. It's an interesting one with this because I don't watch an awful lot of telly, but I seem to get attached to certain shows, and then when they finish, I then get attached to what's coming up next. But what I'll say, we're not going through like nominees and stuff, but I like it sounds really unfair. Even though they were nothing, I like the fact there was a lot of Star Wars shows nominated at the Emmys this year. I also think that comes down to there was a clear winner well in advance of the Emmys. And also for people at home, we're talking about 2023 Emmys. I believe the air dates are, is it June 2022 to May 2023? I think that's how they do it. So when we're talking about The Bear tonight, so everything The Bear has won is because that's season 1, if that makes sense. So I say next year, it will be September this year is going to be when The Bear sweeps again for season 2.
So that means that there's still a hope for All Mankind to actually get the awards and the recognition it deserves, because it's quite frankly one of the best things that's ever been put on TV.
I've heard that a lot. Everyone tells me to watch it. And I also hear that Apple's marketing campaigns are terrible.
Yeah, but it's not even that they're terrible. It's just that people don't want to pay for another streamer. So unless you get the 6 months free by purchasing an Apple product or whatever, you can't watch For All Mankind in that period of time. It is so heavy going. It's a real slow burn. The episodes are like 90 minutes long, but it's phenomenal. And I really, really hope next year, because it's finished now, I hope it gets
the final season.
Well, I think so. I might have got that wrong, so don't quote me.
Okay. Well, it's a show on which I don't want to moan. I bought a new MacBook. I was like, brilliant, I'm going to get 6 months free of Apple. It was like, only 3. I was like, only 3? The prices you're charging for MacBooks these days, it's only 3 months of a streaming service, not even 6.
To be fair, though, Apple TV is only like £8. Like, even if you just pay for it, you could binge some stuff on there.
This is something I know we're sort of off chance, but it is a big thing actually talking Emmys, because so much of it is streaming services, and we've got a graph right at the end. We'll bring it quickly. Well, we can't bring it, but we'll talk about where it says which studios / companies have won the most this year.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it fascinating that with Apple, I think they've got some of the best quality. They've probably got some of the smallest rates. And we know, obviously, Oscar-wise, they're probably going to get a ton of nominations. Obviously, they wouldn't have Coda anyway, the first streamer to win it. But it is interesting how people will start retaliating to streamers, I think, over the next year or two. But I think Apple's problem is that we know they're Apple, but they just... Master of the Year comes out in 10 days. And the amount of people I know who'd be off their heads, I don't even know if they know it's coming out.
Yeah.
And it's something they struggle with, which is crazy when you think it's Apple. But...
yeah.
They do have quality.
I mean, the quality of stuff on there is just leaps and bounds above anything on Netflix. Or, I mean, Disney Plus is a completely different audience. But if you compare the stuff on Apple TV to Netflix and Amazon Prime, I mean, there's no question. You know, Slow Horses has just come out. That's just one of the best crime dramas I've seen in such a long time. Like, it's just I will die on the Apple TV hill, because I just think it is the best for what it does.
No, I'm with you. And film-wise as well, its film production is very good. I saw last month Causeway, the Jennifer Lawrence one from the year before, and that's it. And they get a lot of great films. I think they're starting to do cinema releases. I think they are getting there, which is nice. And I'm curious to see what they do move on doing. But if we talk, let's start talking this safe. People watching at home, we're going to split this up into 4 sections. Section 1, I call Other, is the ones we're going to go through now. Then we're going to do miniseries. Then we're going to do comedy. Then we're going to do drama. So we're going to group it all together. And then Charlie, just jump in if you want to chat about anything. I think we'll probably end up talking about all the winners probably at the end due to the shows. But if we just quickly go over the other section, because this is where it is very weird. Best Variety Special Live, won by Elton John, Farewell from Dodger Stadium. Now, the other nominations are like awards things. So, and I think it was obvious Elton John was going to win this because there's 2 reasons why. He finally got EGOT, which I actually thought he would have had a long time ago, but he obviously didn't.
Yeah.
And second, this is incredible. That live performance was the location, the place, and the day that Disney ousted Bob Chapek. That Bob Chapek was meant to go on stage to introduce Elton John on the broadcast, and before it all began, they fired him, brought back Bob Iger, who was already at the stadium. That's succession in real life. That even the Vince McMahon getting ousted from WWE wasn't as good as that. So I wanted to bring that up because that was bonkers. I remember reading the report. I was like, all this whilst they were doing it on a broadcast for Disney Plus.
That's funny.
Ridiculous, but again, he's going to win that, isn't he? Talk series won by The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Yeah, I don't watch that, but okay. I love Jimmy Kimmel. I'm going to give him that. Writing for a variety series last week tonight with John Oliver. Scripted variety series last week tonight with John Oliver, one of my favorite comedians. Weird, a British comedian, massive in America that no one seems to know in England.
I don't even know who he is.
Have you ever watched Community?
Nope.
Okay, that's fine. You wouldn't have. He was. Oh God, you're going to annoy me. You're the Disney expert. The parrot in The Lion King that Rowan Atkinson played in the original.
Oh, in the remake.
In the remake, he was what Rowan Atkinson was.
Zazu. Okay.
Zazu. There you go. Posh British accent, basically.
Okay.
Great writer, though. If anyone likes satire, he actually knows how to do it. An outstanding competition program won by RuPaul's Drag Race, which explains the Green Goblin lookalike that was in the audience. I woke up when I went on Twitter. I saw it, and I was like, "Have I missed a prank? Like it's 5 a.m. There's a green person." Literally, I was just sat there like, "Is this one of these like YouTuber publicity stunts?" But apparently, it was the entire RuPaul cast. I was like, "Okay, that makes sense."
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. They all looked just so good.
Saying that at 5 a.m., that was like an image and a half. So I just wanted to get that out there. So that's them out of the way. I don't think we'll have much to say, but miniseries is where we're going to really start, I guess, getting into it. Best writing for a miniseries won by Lee Sung-jin for Beef, which is the Netflix series that everyone was raving about last year.
This is next on my to watch list after the last couple of weeks. I'm like, okay, I clearly missed something really good here.
I saw it come out, and it was one of them shows where like not casual audiences are watching it, but you know when it makes the leap out of film Twitter to like normal households. It was one of those. But then I think there was a lot of controversy. I don't know the controversy. I'm not going to say what it is, but like I remember there was a lot of controversy after the series, a few weeks after.
Okay.
So some people have been a bit funny about it winning. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something like plagiarism or if it's a real. I just know that there was a big controversy after, but I don't know the severity or if I'm overstating what that was. Beef also won Best Direction for Lee Sung-jin.
I just have a question about that first category, the writing for a limited series.
Yeah.
How was the Weird Al story nominated?
My question too.
Film?
Films that are quote made for TV, which is really weird because Prey's there as well, which I was like, that's the most like insulting Predator thing. So it's like a limited series or a movie for TV.
Or a movie. Oh, okay.
I think it's
weird.
I think it's sort of nonsense, if I'm being honest, because also the Weird Al Yankovic one was great.
It was so
Prey
good.
was great, but how can you compare a 10-hour miniseries to a 2-hour film? Because in the UK, they just went into a streaming service here, so to us it was nothing else. But sorry, we should have said that too.
Yeah.
Best supporting actor went to Paul Waterhouse for Blackbird, which is the Apple series.
There we go. Again, like that series was so good. It was so good. And I think it was the last thing Ray Liotta did as well. And I mean, yes. that to me just proves the quality of Apple TV, that series. It was amazing.
Is it Taron Egerton as well in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've not seen it still. There's a lot of this, and the thing is, with Apple, if you put the subscription back on, you can catch up to like a year in like 2-3 months. Like, and this is what people don't realize. This sounds like a generational thing. Like, my parents got Apple, which they wouldn't, because they get it for free for me, but like, they just never cancel it. I'm like, no, you have to open the subscription, watch what you want to watch, and cancel it. Like, people don't realize that's how it should be done.
Yeah, exactly.
And it saves money, and it's the only way really to have. So it's like football. Like, we'll cancel Sky the moment the football season's over because it's irrelevant for the summer. I'm not going to pay 3 months for no reason.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
people don't really get it, but I'm glad you did that. Supporting actress Niecy Nash-Betts, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Did you watch that? I didn't.
I have to admit, I watched the first 2 episodes and I really just didn't enjoy it. I think it's as brutal as it should be, given the subject matter, but I just found the whole thing too dark, too graphic, and I'll be honest, I'm getting a bit tired of serial killers being given this sort of like story platform. Like, we all know what Jeffrey Dahmer did. It's been told so many times. I just didn't think it needed to be told again. Not to say she's brilliant in it. It must have been a really hard role for her to do. So I do think it's a worthy win. It just wasn't for me.
I'm in the same boat that I have no intention of. Netflix first they'll do a documentary and then they'll go do a series on it. And I just find it. I know a lot of people are really big on watching stuff like that, and I kind of get there's an audience for it. But in my head, I'm like, I would much rather watch 5 films in 10 hours about other stuff, or a 2-hour documentary if I really wanted to, than like watch like a series about what.
I also think that there was quite a lot that came out afterwards about that they didn't get permission from victims' families, and it just left a bit of a bad taste.
Wasn't there a Zac Efron film as well? Or am I missing?
That was Ted Bundy.
Okay, apologies.
Again,
same thing, right? It's just another
same story told again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No,
anyway.
I'm in the same boat. Lead actor Stephen Yeun for Beef. Lead actress Ali Wong for Beef. Best limited or anthology series. Beef. Sweeps. I think we kind of knew it would because it won all the Golden Globes, and it's again like I love Obi-Wan Kenobi, but that was a very weird. That was so weird. See, again, like seeing a Star Wars nomination in a TV show is just a weird concept for me still.
Yeah, that is a bit weird. I'm looking at the other nominees. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of them. Fleishman is in Trouble is on my list of things to watch. It's got a great cast, Claire Danes and Jesse Eisenberg.
Daisy Jones in the Six is it the Riley Keough one? That's meant to be very good.
Yeah, I want to watch that as well. I've only just got Amazon Prime back, so I haven't got around to watching that one. But yeah, I think Beef did really well. It was really popular. It clearly has great performances in it. So, and also as a Walking Dead fan, I'm very happy to see Stephen Yeun picking up the award there.
Yeah, and also Minari. He's a very, very underrated actor.
I loved Minari.
What was the other one? He's dropped out of the Marvels. Well, he wasn't actually announced. Someone didn't his friend leak he'd been cast, and then they had to. Then I don't know what the rumors are. I think he's been cast in a big film instead. I don't want to.
And he's also got Invincible, which is massive. Yes. You know, so he's just a busy man. He's being pulled in too many directions.
Definitely, and we'll talk comedy. Okay, I always find this odd with award shows. We said at the Golden Globes, we're going to be talking about The Bear a lot for the next few minutes. I've binged the entire thing in the last week. Last Monday, we did a stream for the Golden Globes. Tate said he didn't like the first 2 episodes. I was like, I'm going to watch it at some point. I started watching on Wednesday. I started watching on Wednesday. I was done by Friday. Like, unbelievable. 19 episodes, 30 minutes average each. Unbelievable television. Season, to give my 10-second season 2 review, I prefer season 1, but I think season 2 has better episodes, which sounds ridiculous, and it's a completely different story, which I love.
And the tonal shift is massive in between the 2 seasons. Season 1 is almost easy watching compared to season 2. Season 2 is like panic attack inducing.
Yeah, and the end of season 2 is the most like heart-wrenching, like not like I'm disappointed, but like I was a bit upset, and I was like, oh great, now I've actually got to wait for them to start filming season 3. But it has been put forward in comedy, and I'm just going to go through the other sort of big nominations. We'll go through all of it properly, the award by award, but we've got. Let me just scroll down. Abbott Elementary, which I know you said you'd seen.
Yeah,
Is that? I believe that's an outright comedy.
it's like a sitcom based in a primary school in America, is told in a sort of documentary format. It's really good. It's really like proper comfort watching. Really like it.
We've got Barry. I've not seen it. I thought that was about like a murderer or something. I know it's meant to be amazing.
But it's Bill Hader, so it doesn't surprise me that it falls into comedy with Bill Hader in the lead.
Yeah, we've got The Bear, which I found a lot of it funny, but I don't think.
But it's like uncomfortable funny. You're not laughing
tonally.
I
couldn't put it in the same bracket as, let's say, The Last of Us and Succession. So them putting it in comedy, I get, and I think it's a more unique, like you laugh at moments, but it's quite.
It's almost like its own genre. Like it's a drama, but it's not like a. It's not like an epic hour-long, really highly invested kind of drama. It's I'm just going to binge the whole thing in 2 days because it's so watchable kind of. I don't know. It's just really different.
And then its episodes are different because one minute you've got the Copenhagen episode, which I thought was genuinely just like one of the most pleasant episodes of television. It felt like Ted Lasso in a kitchen.
With one of my favourite cameos of the year.
With Will Poulter, I'm guessing.
Love Will Poulter.
And that was like a really lovely, like, oh, this is so nice. And then the episode after's the Christmas, which, by the way, before Christmas, I kept seeing this John Berthnall Christmas meme, and everyone was showing this John Berthnall Christmas thing, and I was like, I don't know what this is. And it's only until the episode started, I was like, oh my god, the John Berthnall meme. Like and I love that. It happens with films when I'm watching a meme for the first time and I start to realize, I get so excited. And I didn't have a single clue who else was in that episode because on that one clip it always shows just John Berthnall.
Yeah,
that was wild. And just the other comedies, Jury Duty, I don't know of. The Marvelous Miss Maisel, I've heard of. I know a lot of people have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Only Murders in the Building. I know that's an outright comedy. Everybody loves that. I need to watch it. I think that's another one you can binge quite easily, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that's been on my list. Ted Lasso, of course, and Wednesday, which is... I've still not seen Wednesday. Is it a comedy?
Like,
is it because it's Tim Burton? They're like, oh, it's Tim Burton, it's wacky, so it's a comedy.
I don't remember finding any of it particularly funny. It's almost like we don't really know where to put it, so we'll call it should be drama and other genres.
It's like at the Oscars when they'll take something that should be a support, they'll take a lead actor and be like, haha, they're supporting now. I'm like, why? Like,
it's just whichever category they think they've got the strongest chance in, isn't it?
Yeah, and
it's the Dev Patel as a supporting actor in Lion argument. Like, huh? Like Matt Damon winning for best lead actor in a comedy for The Martian.
Did you see the for BAFTA? I haven't seen One Life at the Anthony Hopkins film. They've submitted Anthony Hopkins as supporting actor. Now I've not seen it, but I've seen the marketing campaign, and I would be surprised if he is the supporting actor of that.
The only reason I can think they've done that is because of screen time, because he's probably got less screen time than Johnny Flynn, but
okay.
He's not it's not a supporting role at all.
So, and and some people will be like, oh, and this is something I'm seeing more recently. And as I've got older, I've actually I didn't dislike the Oscars when I was younger. I sort of like the Oscars because it's an awards thing. And it's only really the last 3-4 years I've actually had a vested interest, and I actually want to follow this season. But I hate watching a film. And I guess TV in this logic, watching it and being like, that should win this. I know some people do it all year round, which is great. And I think the people that do that tend to have dedicated award sites and they actually know what they're talking about when they say all that. I know I don't. But I find it far more interesting the last couple of years, looking at cycles of award shows, the festival circuits, all the marketing, everything like that. And I've sort of turned into the certain lines like the Oscars are pointless. I'm like, well, actually, I'm starting to realize like how important they are for funding, for future projects, for
Yeah,
directors,
massively.
for careers. There's if anyone's seen it, there's an incredible Peter Capaldi interview in the Guardian this week. And he spoke about how I didn't even know he'd won an Oscar for directing a short film in the early
Yeah,
90s.
yeah,
Then he ends up in the Weinstein Company doing a film that he gets royally screwed over by them, and that's his director career down the drain. I had no idea. I thought he'd have been, it sounds really unfair, like a typical RSC, maybe gets his TV breakthrough in his like 40s with the thick of it. But it's completely different, and it blew me away. It's an incredible interview. Aside from what happened with that, just him talking about growing up and a lot of other things. A really good interview for people curious. But let's talk some comedy awards. So, no surprise, best writing for a comedy series: Christopher Storer, The Bear. Best directing for a comedy series: Christopher Storer, The Bear. Best supporting actor in a comedy series: Ebon Moss-Bachrach. I don't know if that's pronounced like that. I absolutely adore him. The Bear. Best supporting actress in a comedy series: Ida Berry. The Bear. Unbelievable, by the way. Best actor in a comedy series: Jeremy Allen White. The Bear. Lead actress in a comedy series: Kinta Brunson. Abbott Elementary. Now, I've not seen Abbott Elementary. You mentioned her earlier. Before we end the sweep, just your thoughts on it, then we'll talk about The Bear. If anyone's curious that might win best comedy, for those that don't already know.
I just think it's hilarious that the only category where The Bear didn't win was the category it wasn't nominated in.
Do you think if it was, it would have, if they had just put someone in best?
I mean, if they put AO in, maybe she would.
I think they could do that in season 2. I know they'll put her in supporting, but I think I really.
Anyway.
But yeah, listen. I'm lucky. I'm really glad I binged it this week because I didn't know it was going to dominate this entire awards. Like, it obviously technical was done very well with. I think I'd imagine episode 7, the episode they submitted for everything, which has like the 18-minute one take, which was just incredible. But I'm fully endorsing. And again, I've not watched most of the other stuff, but I don't think I've seen a show that I was listening to the soundtrack in the car earlier, and it made me run a sprint to Sainsbury's to do my shopping, which would be probably really bad given how they do it in the series. But it's one of them where I've been watching it and I was like, I really want to go back to Chicago. And I know that they literally recreated a very famous Chicago restaurant for the first series. I know that they shoot even season 2, the Olivia Colman episodes. That's a real restaurant in Chicago they filmed at, and the pizza place they go to in that episode is also a big one. So it's been I was like, I really want another deep ham pizza. I can't fly to Chicago because I watched The Bear. And obviously I've only been to America once. I can't just go twice and you've only been to Chicago
to the same place.
But it shows that do stuff like that to me. I love it. I love everything about the series. And it's, as you said, it's unique. There's nothing. I don't think I've seen anything like it. When I thought cooking show, I thought, is it? I've not seen the Boiling Point series, but I thought, is it going to be Boiling Point?
Yeah, me
as
too.
a series, which it really isn't. Then you get the whole Mikey stuff, the family stuff, and I cry a lot more at TV than film. I think because you spend more time with the characters, you get invested to more characters. I was well at Burshort at the end of the episode 9. It was just a really happy ending. Finding the money, the let it rip. I was weeping, and I was working at the same time, which doesn't help. But I just thought, I keep seeing this chef guy in memes. I've seen it all last year. I keep seeing reels of him swearing, telling people to F off at work, because that's what. Not that I would do that at work, but that's.
It's on the Disney homepage every time you go on Disney Plus.
It is, and
they're pushing it so much.
I'd heard about good guest stars in season 2. Didn't know who they were. I just heard people talking about guest stars, and it finally happened. And I'm glad I watched it when I did. And I really recommend it to anybody at home. I spoke to friends, loads of friends since watching it. You were one of them. I was like, have you seen The Bear? I know I'm very late to the party now, but
yeah, I was late to the party as well, to be honest, because I really didn't think it would be my kind of thing. But then Neil, a friend of the channel, was like, you've got to watch it. And I was like, what's he talking about? It looks boring. I don't care about cooking shows. Well,
and
he was right.
And this is it. This is what I found weird. I don't enjoy cooking as a whole. I'm not going to say I can cook. I can cook food I would like to eat, and what I would like to eat, I can cook well. But I don't enjoy it. And some people really enjoy cooking. They love I like to prep. I like to do this, and I respect that, and I get that. but I've never, ever, ever cared, and I've never liked it. And when I was watching this, I was like, that makes me want to like go make my own Subway.
Be a
Did I?
Michelin
No.
star chef.
Yeah, like, and it's like, I just, yeah, there's certain things like during lockdown I got addicted to, is it Hot Ones on YouTube? They have like a secondary like burger channel. I got addicted to that. I was like, I can make an amazing burger. I saw the menu for the first time after, by the way.
I was gonna say.
I was like, it's fine. Let's watch the other kitchen thing on Disney Plus. But oh yeah, the band. I'm so happy it won everything. But do you have anything else to add on the Bex? We're going to move into drama, which we both know what we're talking about as well.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's just like it's warranted, right? The sweep that it got. I think there are some other amazing things in that category. I mean, it's a shame Ted Lasso with its final season didn't win anything. But as most people said, I don't know if I necessarily agree, but most people said Ted Lasso was stronger at the start of its run anyway. So I suppose it's only fitting. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great to see it have done so well, and I think Jeremy Allen White is just a star in the making. So it's great for him as well.
Yes, and he'll be in the Iron Claw, which comes out February the 9th here in the UK. We'll have a review a bit earlier, and there may be some of wrestling stuff. I laugh because there might actually be another wrestling video next few weeks, which will be the most ridiculous thing we've ever done, and potentially one of the greatest things we've ever done. But yes, as Zac Efron said, there should be an actors' Royal Rumble to determine who wins the best actor. Who knows? Maybe that'll be a video. But let's talk drama. And once again, we're going to be saying the same show a lot, so we'll whiz through the awards. So, best writing for drama series, Jesse Armstrong, Succession. Best direction for a drama series, Mark Mylod, Succession. Supporting actor in a drama series, Matthew McFadden, Succession.
Hilariously, there was 4 Succession actors in that category. So,
did you see
on that side.
From a few weeks ago the guest star Emmy, the entirety of guest actor type thing? It was only for both actor and actress. It was only Last of Us and Succession.
Hilarious.
From all of them, there was not a single other performance. And Nick Offerman won. I can't remember who won. Nico Parker won guest actress for Last of Us as well. Actually, that's episode 8 or 7, the flashback episode, basically, for anyone that watched it. But yes,
I did watch it, but I have no idea.
I know you're not a fan. Best supporting actress in a drama series. There was a Succession nomination.
There was. She didn't get it.
She didn't win. Jennifer Coolidge won for White Lotus. Now, I have not seen White Lotus. I have
seen the White Lotus.
I've heard incredible things about it. It's an anthology series. I think is this season 2 that's just come out.
This is something that blows my mind, though. The Bear is a comedy, but The White Lotus is a drama. The White Lotus is a comedy. It's hilarious. Like I just don't understand the logic here at all. But it's brilliant. It's really, really good. I
saw all the clips when this episode came out. The gays, they're trying to kill me. Out of context, I saw that on BBC this morning. It was like Jennifer Coolidge thanks the evil gays, and I'm like, that's going to come out so bad for people that don't know the reference.
Luckily, everyone in the room knew the reference.
Yeah, I've wanted to watch it, and it is on my list to watch. But again, from what I've heard and what I've seen, Jennifer Coolidge absolutely deserved it, and it's an anthology series, so she won't be in the next one. I know that Aubrey Plaza's in it too, isn't she? She won't be in the next one. Okay, that's fine. I love Aubrey. I think she turned up in a Sex and the City dress or something really weird. Like she had like a giant post-it note, which is from. She's mad. She's absolutely mad. We love her. Absolutely love her. I love. We spoke about Nick Offerman briefly. I love that the cast of Parks and Rec are all doing so well with their careers. One of the best comedies ever made. Lead actor in a drama series, Kieran Culkin, Succession. Lead actress in a drama series, Sarah Snook, Succession. Best drama series, you name it, Succession. The Succession sweep starring Jennifer Coolidge.
Now that's something I would have liked to have seen. Jennifer Coolidge popping up. She turned up
one episode. To be fair, she's probably fitted quite well, actually.
Yeah. She could have been like Connor's date or something.
I mean, you got me into Succession. It's worth saying this. I don't know if you've said it on the stream before. So this would have been London Film Festival before season 3 came out. They did the first episode, and you and Neil both went. and everyone was hyping it up to me. And I tend to binge a show around Christmas time. Like, we'd have whether we had a shutdown from my old job or this one, you do like minimal time or whatnot. I'd always try and binge a drama at Christmas because I don't really watch dramas throughout the year. And I think I did all 3 seasons in like 8 days. And I was messaging you.
That's a
like,
lot of Succession in a
that's
very
a
short
lot.
period of time.
And it's great for the soundtrack. And the only thing annoying was the Sky adverts, I'm not going to lie, because they're unskippable because we didn't have Sky Stream back then. But that changed everything, if I'm being honest. Like, binging that. Like The Bear, you binge it and it's gone. And then it's like, oh, I've got to wait for the next series. And then obviously season 4 comes around this year. And then they announce, just for it airs, it's going to be the final season, which I actually think is the best marketing strategy I've ever seen. I don't want a decent show to ever announce ever again it's the final season until like a month before, because that changes it from I'm excited for the next series to it's happening. Like, it's
I
going to
think
be
it's also
this
because
series.
they didn't even really know, did they? Like, it was all down to what happened in the writers' room, and they just decided this is where we end it.
And I think it's the best way to do it. You don't want it long and drawn. I saw people, sorry to take It's the Bear, but someone got cooked on Twitter because they said that The Bear should be like a 6-season show, and everyone was giving them abuse. And someone's like, it's perfectly leaning itself to probably 3 seasons, maybe a 4th at a push. And I kind of think, obviously, Succession done it in 4. I would always look at Star Wars Rebels as one now. You've got a massive animated series whose predecessor had like 7 seasons with like gazillion more planned. And the showrunner calls it a day at season 4, saying this is the story now. Well, most of the story because we've got Ahsoka. But I've got no issue with shows doing that more often. And I think maybe it's a British thing. Like, over here, a lot of our dramas run for like 2 or 3 seasons and then they stop.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I think America, they used to have the 22 episode X amount of seasons. And I think if there's no more story to tell, end it. And I think you want to go out on the highest of highs, which Succession's done. And I think the final season, do I think it's the best season of all 4? I'd need to do a bulk rewatch.
Yeah.
But I think it has the best individual episodes off the top of my head. I'm talking the death, the funeral,
the wedding,
finale. So yeah, the wedding, the death. Sorry, like all on the same.
Connor's wedding. Oh yes, I suppose that was the same episode, wasn't it? But
yeah, but it's one of them where I don't think I've really seen a show like it. And what's even funnier is, I don't want to get into the childish politics, but Jeremy Strong was noticeably absent again. And they actually asked,
filming or something.
I know. He's busy. He's got a lot of projects. I know he doesn't do as much press as everyone else. Yeah. And also, to be fair to him, the press went after him for a while. So I also get if he doesn't want to be like involved actively on a word circuit. But I will and say,
probably like, Kieran's going to win. So what's the point?
I can't imagine him sat at home. I'm sure he would have like. I think they even said like joking, like we texted him, Brian Cox, like you can't talk about him.
Yeah.
But Brian Cox is literally in his Logan Roy phase. He's become Logan Roy for a persona.
I think it's hilarious that he somehow snuck into lead actor. Like, he's hardly in it.
3 episodes in a cameo, and he got the lead actor.
Something like that. It's
and
ridiculous.
he's getting nominated everywhere around the board for it. But I'm very glad Kieran Culkin won.
Me too.
I think for not just this season, but I look at Emmys like the Oscars. That if it's a collective, you can look at what they've done in this role for X amount of years, as well as this season. But not just he's been one of the best characters, because of course he has. No one's not been a great character, but his best performance has been in the final season. He was the best actor of the guys in that season, and he's rightfully winning this. I love his feud with Pedro Pascal. That they're absolutely loving it with each other, and I also love that Pedro Pascal, this award circuit. So he's had his shoulder. If you saw these clips, like Jennifer Aniston, like he like touched her arm and she got really excited. And like he's almost become this like Jesus figure on the award season that everybody's desperate to meet him.
So
I still think it's wild. I think it's wild that it's all blown up in the last couple of years, and I adore him. I'm excited for. Oh God, what's he not working? He's got Gladiator 2. He's got The Mandalorian. He's got The Last of Us. He's also got another film. And
supposedly Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and all of these are apparently going to film this year. The Mandalorian film.
Shoulder. That'll be fun.
The Mandalorian film, I know it's the wrong video, but I do really want it, with it being a film, I think he would be in it a lot more actively than he has been in. Well, season 3 certainly he basically wasn't in because of Last of Us.
Yeah, well, we'll
and
see.
I know that Last of Us season 2, dependent on the structure, I think will be in a lot of it. They might fill in gaps from other games they've said, so people that played it might know. But Succession rightfully won. And it's weird talking about it because Golden Globes, like we get to talk about the films, we don't really do telly on the channel, so it's not harder to do the chat. Like there's so many amazing TV performances, and also I think it'd be so much harder to be a voter of a TV series like House of the Dragon. I know you don't like Game of Thrones because that was like the beginning of the calendar, I guess you could say, for the Emmys. It got nothing. I think it won one at the Creative a few weeks ago. But it was one of the best shows by a country mile. But it was second fiddle to The Last of Us, and it was second fiddle to Succession.
Was Rings of Power this year, or would that have
it would have qualified as this, but it just got no. It got no. Oh, actually, hold on. Sorry. Let me.
It was like September.
It will be. 20. It would have been. Yeah, it would have been this one, September 22. So it would have been for this, but again, nothing.
That's really sad.
It might have had nominations. It might have had nominations at the Creative one a few weeks ago.
Yeah, maybe. And
I know that season 2 is going to air this year as well. I think it was at the same time as House of Dragon last time. I think they're both almost adjacent.
Yeah, they came out at like the same time, actually. Yeah.
And House of Dragon, like what we spoke about earlier, House of Dragon, it's going to be a maximum of 3 or 4 seasons. They're not going to drag it out. They can't drag it out, and they learn their lessons from the Game of Thrones endings as well. More the author's fault for not finishing his book. That's what I will always say. But
just another shout out from the drama categories is The Diplomat, Kerry Russell's nomination in The Diplomat. It's a series I've seen it. I loved it. I've been a fan of Kerry Russell's for a really long time, so it was really cool to see her sort of front and center for this show. But it was a Netflix series that there was only 1 season of, and everybody was panicking that that's all we were going to get. You know how Netflix are when they just do their 1 season, leave it on a cliffhanger, and then we just decided to cancel it. Luckily, it's been renewed for another season, so I recommend The Diplomat for anyone that's looking for something new to watch, because it's really, really good, really easy watch, really funny at times, but really like eye-opening, and Kerry Russell's great in it. So just wanted a little shout out for that one.
No, absolutely. I've not seen that. I love Kerry Russell. One of my best friends ever since I have said to watch The Americans. I think I watched like 1 episode. That's how she met Matthew Rhys, I think, as well. So that's another one. I want to talk really quickly. I've not watched Better Call Saul. I love Breaking Bad. I think some of the best shows I've ever seen. I just didn't get into Better Call Saul. I was waiting for it to finish. Now it's finished. I just not really can't be asked. I don't see that much telly, so a long form thing. It's broke a record, which is actually kind of sad, but it's kind of respectable. The most Emmy nominations without ever having won an Emmy. 53 nominations across, I think, 6 seasons.
I mean, it's sad for them that they've never bagged one, because it's finished now, right?
Yes, it finished, but at the same time, again, as someone that hasn't seen it, a lot. Again, I need to see each year it went up against who's up against, but I would logically say, can anyone who watches both say that Better Call Saul should be winning all of this over Succession? That is the question I would then pose. I've not seen it. I can't answer that, but 53 nominations and 0. And,
I mean, that's it. Like, that's not something to be sad about. 53 nominations is huge.
Still accolades. The one I'm seeing the most is I can't apologize on pronunciation, it's wrong. Rhea Seehorn, supporting actress. Everyone said she's been the best thing that she's been in the series. Obviously, she lost out to Jennifer Coolidge. But again, if you're getting nominated every single year, okay, you've not had your due of winning. But if you're there every year, no one's sort of disrespecting your work on a series.
Yeah.
And I think that's what something where this is where the more I follow awards season, the more interesting it gets is some people are so fixated upon they haven't won. I get it for TV more than film, because TV, you might do the same show for 6 years in a row. You might do it for 10 years in a row. But with a film, you're going to get one go for that film, and that's it. And I think sometimes people don't realize like how big a nomination is for actors as well. I know that's maybe more film logic. That I think when I know we'll obviously, I know we'll discuss Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies was up against Stallone for Creed. Stallone was just happy to be there. Like that, the nomination for him was like one of the defining moments of his career, that he hadn't been to the awards since Rocky in '76. And there's some people up in arms that he didn't win it. And it's like, I'd have loved for him to have won it. Do I think it's a better performance than Mark Ryan's and Bridge of Spies? I don't. But I guess the
Correct
Oscars
answer.
narrative, and like, yeah, and it's, and at the same time, meanwhile, they didn't get you Michael Keaton's, who, I don't know if I've said this before, but he now will not acknowledge Birdman at all because he didn't win Best Actor for Birdman. Which, and then also he defeats the logic of that film by selling out playing Batman again. Which, you know, I think is ridiculous. But
when I think of Michael Keaton and award shows, all I think about is last year when he won for Dope Sick and he just like rolled onto the stage because he was in the bathroom. When I don't think it was the Emmys, I think it was the Globes, and he like,
I've still not seen it. It's meant to be very good. Was Will Poulter in that as well?
Yeah. It's very good. But it was just a funny moment because he just kind of like ran from the bathroom and then just like rolled onto the stage. It's just very funny. Big Michael Keaton.
And this is the thing with award shows, like I think they're important. And what we said earlier, like some people don't like them, that's fine. I prefer blockbuster season to awards season because I like going to the IMAX to watch ridiculous blockbuster films. Do I want blockbuster films to be given pointless awards such as best cinematic? What was the one that Barbie won? It's no
best cinematic achievement.
Yeah, which it should be black and white. And we kind of said last week that you have to give it to Barbie because it's the highest grossing film. Irrespective of other films that did phenomenal. Let's take Taylor Swift, the highest ever grossing concert film. The money went to the actual cinemas, not the studios. But that's not a better cinematic achievement than Barbie grossing 1.5 billion. Oppenheimer, you could arguably say, is a bigger achievement because it's a 3-hour biopic about the nuclear bomb, grossing just under $1 billion. But it's not the highest grossing film. So my mindset is the highest grossing film wins that. But it's not a surprise because we know the highest grossing film every month. And I'm glad, I don't even know how I got onto this, sorry, but that might be pointless, but you can accolade blockbuster cinema in award shows, which is what they're doing, because Barbie and Oppenheimer, let's add Killers of the Flower Moon in, those three, across the board, I think are going to be winning most of the Oscars. That's a $200 million film, $100 million film, and I think $140 million film, or something like that. I can't remember Barbie's budget. They're blockbusters, and they are going to dominate this award season moving forward.
But I mean, it's just how the Oscars used to be. I mean, Mary Poppins was nominated for Best Picture. Go back 10 years, you would never have seen a film like Mary Poppins nominated for Best Picture. I mean, I know we haven't got the Oscar nominations yet, but the fact that Barbie is going to be in there is huge for blockbusters. Like, that's it. I think it's exciting from my perspective because I think these films should be recognised. It was nice to see Avatar in there last year. It was nice to see Dune in there the year before. You know, it's nice that we're not just celebrating Oscar films. It should be a variety. There should be sci-fis. One day we might even get a horror film in there. You never know. But it's I think it's exciting. We're kind of going back to what it was used to be about.
And I know, without bringing up Weinstein too much, he was the face of the modern. It's about the marketing. Let's run the marketing campaigns, aka Shakespeare in Love somehow beating Saving Private Ryan.
You bring that up any
I will, because as every like passing day goes by, it looks even worse. Like, doesn't it? It's just like, and again, like
an origin story.
But it's kind of how I think. Like, but then the logic is like, not don't get hung up on awards. Like, it should be the accolade. And then you get arguments in the past of, I remember having this like, what constitutes the best film? I was like, well, the award doesn't say best crafted film. It says best film. And I like the fact when they did the extension to 10 that, to me, it's opened the doors for other films that wouldn't make that 5. And this is the Black Panther debate. I think Black Panther was completely valid for a nomination based off its cultural impact. Mm-hmm. Because to me, a cultural impact of a film is as big as the quality of the film. Now, I'm not saying, okay, you have the movie 43 and it makes the money Black Panther does. I'm not saying that. But when you have a phenomenon that cannot be ignored, I think that can come. And Barbenheimer kind of is that. Now, I don't want them to share any awards. I'll just get that out of the way now.
Imagine Best Picture goes to Barbie and Oppenheimer.
It's just, obviously, it's an amazing thing what those two did with each other, the films. But I just find it fascinating that, again, the perspectives and how it works and where the industry can move to it. And I do think it swings and roundabouts. if they're now seeing films like Barbie and Oppenheimer because of Halloween being rewarded, I know we're on a TV discussion, but the studios will start to, well, you would hope that the high-ups within studios would be like, let's actually hire directors who would like to make, because one of my favorite parts of the whole Barbie marketing was Greta Gerwig saying, I would like a career like Christopher Nolan. I want to do this. I then want to go and make a commercial film because I won't have the budget to do so. And I remember some people being really, as okay, it's Twitter, and I'm not slagging off fans. I know that Little Woman's got its fans. I know Greta Gerwig's very popular. Some of the fans were like, no, we don't want that. And I'm like, she wants to direct a higher budget film, and now she can. Christopher Nolan doesn't get his budgets without The Dark Knight. She's now going to get her budgets because she did Barbie.
Yeah.
And it's horrible that the industry needs to have that because we don't have creative directors anymore. It is more so you're hired on behalf of the studio. But she can now go out and say, this is going to be my next project. And the good thing about streaming, Apple brackets, not the others, Apple will say, okay, well, if you're an acclaimed director and no one else is going to fund this $200 million film, that's a drop in the ocean for our turnover. We can afford to make no money off that because we've got the prestige of you doing it. Whereas some companies can't afford to have a loss, which I respect and understand. So the streamers need to help the studios in their own way, if that makes sense. And I've turned this into a completely different conversation. Away from the Emmys, sorry. But yeah, it's an interesting one. And this is, again, what comes with the award season. There's no blockbuster award season, ever need to be one. Because if they're good enough, they'll pull through to this year, which is what they're doing. And even Everything Ever All at Once, that released in March, and it won the Oscar 1 year later in March. So it doesn't mean it's done and dusted for June Part 2. We can hope. We can live in hope.
We can live in hope.
It's too early to talk about next year's Oscars because this year's nominations haven't even come out.
I haven't even got the nominations yet, so
no. There's always an article the day after the Oscars every year. Someone does an article saying next year's predictions. It's always ridiculous.
Oh, people will already have their predictions for next year and the year after.
I'll say June. 2 years ago, I was like, 2 years ago, I was like, this year's going to be Scorsese versus Spielberg. Next year's going to be Nolan versus Denis Villeneuve, and neither of that has happened because two got laid out before. But anyway, Emmy-wise, just whilst we round out, I'm just gonna quickly go over the shows that won the most Emmys overall. This is including the creative one a few weeks ago. The Bear won the most with 10, Beef with 8, The Last of Us with 8, Succession with 6, Welcome to Wrexham 5, The White Lotus 5, still a Michael J. Fox movie, unbelievable. Please see that. 4, Wednesday 4. I'm going to just round out 4 because there's a lot that won 3.
Yeah.
And studios for people that interest this, The Kings all year round, as you expect. HBO won 31. Netflix then won 22. FX won 16. FX, 10 of that 16 was The Bear. And then Apple won 10. So it's always HBO. I don't know if there's ever been a year HBO haven't won it. There probably has been. Maybe Netflix won it 1 year, but HBO, we've spoke about Succession. We spoke about Last of Us. Two of the biggest shows maybe at each other for drama. It's them fighting themselves, isn't it? It's like they always have an elite show. We mentioned Barry earlier as well. Barry's been a HBO staple piece. You've had Succession, The Last of Us, The White Lotus. There's probably some really obvious one I've just missed that we brought up earlier. But HBO, there's a reason why they're the best at what they do. They always have been. They have that reputation. They are prestige television. The only thing I'll say is that I wish the series Shrinking had some accolades last year.
Shrinking.
Or I loved it. That was a really big thing to watch. Quite a tough point with me. So I have a lot of love, and I think I'm very surprised Harrison Ford didn't, if I'm being honest, get a nomination.
Season 2 is coming. You never know.
I'd hope so. I thought it was really, really, really eye-opening series, but it's going to kind of. I know it's going to be over. It's going to kind of round out the Emmys chat. I don't know how to do this. It's weird of award season. I can't sit there and say, "Oh, we're back talking soon," because the Emmys are the annual thing. Maybe we'll be back in September when the Emmys, this year's Emmys have happened. But obviously, we are in award season. We've got the BAFTA nominations. Oh God, this Thursday, blimey, that's coming up quick. BAFTA nominations this week, Oscar nominations next week. There'll be videos on both of those. We'll then be doing a lot more once the Oscar nominations come out. We'll have different videos on the channel. In the meantime, we've got a lot of reviews happening at the moment. I mentioned Band of Brothers. That came out last Friday. You just finished rewatching it. The Pacific, which you're watching at the moment, the review for that's going to come out on Friday. We're then going to have a Masters of the Air review, I can say, at 2 p.m. next Wednesday. That'll be an entire series review completely spoiler free, so do not worry about that. And tomorrow there'll be a home media review. The Creators came out in 4K, so I've got that recorded and ready to go. So there's a lot of stuff happening on the channel. It's been quiet but busy at the same time. And any other videos we'll put on our social medias, which you can find linktree.com/cinemasavvy. And as you know, please do comment your thoughts on the Emmys if you still made it. Do you care? Do you not? What shows do you recommend us watching? All that sorts of stuff. We do appreciate anyone that's been watching this and commenting and talking to us. Charlie, thank you so much for jumping on as well. I know it's very last minute, so I appreciate that. And it'd be good to get on some more Oscar stuff, as I know you do follow it quite as well. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all for watching. Take care.